All right, everyone. So with Gears of War E-Day coming up, there is a ton of excitement, right? And we know in June there's going to be a big event. But I didn't know this one piece of information about E-Day. All right. So this is from comicbook.com. Here's the headline: Gears of War E-Day may be missing the series' most iconic feature. So when I saw that headline, I was like, huh. Let me look at it. Let me see what this is. Sometimes you read a headline like that and you're like, what is it actually going to be? Is it going to be that iconic of a thing? And then I read the article. This is crazy. Okay. Marcus Phoenix may be the face of Gears of War, but the Lancer is just as iconic. There is no doubt that it is the symbol for the series and a major part of its identity. Every game has put this chainsaw tipped assault rifle in players' hands, and few things in the game are as satisfying as cutting through an enemy with it. However, there is a strong chance that players will not see the Chainsaw Lancer in Gears of War E-Day. Think about that. I'm going to read that again because that's burying the lead right there, right? However, there is a strong chance that players will not see the Chainsaw Lancer in Gears of War E-Day. According to the established timeline, the Chainsaw Lancer does not exist during E-Day. The version briefly seen in the trailer is an early model featuring a detachable bayonet rather than the iconic chainsaw. That detail suggests the game is aiming to stay faithful to its lore, even if it means removing a fan favorite element. We've seen the series included in Gears of War 3, but the Chainsaw Lancer was still available to use alongside it. Okay. So I don't know much about the lore of Gears of War, to be completely honest with you. Whether this is true or not, my guess is it is because I trust that this article is right. But that's crazy to me that we may not get it. I wouldn't be stunned if they find a way to sneak it in just so it's in the game. You know, maybe the story doesn't have it, but it can still be used online or something. Like, to me, it would be a shock for them not to put the Chainsaw Lancer in this game or a version of it, because that is like, they're right in the sense of the chainsaw on the Lancer is a fundamental part of Gears of War. That is like one of the when you think about Gears of War, you think about that, right? That was like one of the big differentiators about the Gears of War series. Like, that's like one of the things you remember telling people, like, you have a assault rifle that also has a chainsaw on it, right? It's just like this big part of the game, and to not have that in it at all would be shocking. But I understand you want to stick to the lore of the whole thing, right? If you're trying to tell this story, because that's one of the things about Gears is so many games like Gears of War, that have such popular online multiplayer components, and I'm talking more back in the day, right? Gears of War 1, 2, and 3. But so many games like that, they don't always have the best campaigns, right? Gears of War, when you would watch the IGN review of Gears of War 1 or Gears of War 2, those reviews almost had the online as like a secondary component. Whereas for me, the online was the biggest part. But for them, it was like, yeah, this campaign is like 10 out of 10, right? Like, this campaign is great. And so that's one of the crazy things about Gears is how it was able to do both things in that way. And so you want to stay and make sure that, it is lore correct, right? You don't wanna have a situation where your hardcore fans are like, "This isn't how it's supposed to be." But I do think for the online, they're gonna wanna get that in there. But who knows? We'll keep tracking this. This was just kind of blew my mind a little bit. All right. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.